Mutual Funds Sahi Hai presents Nivesh Ka Sahi Kadam in association with News 18 Network.
We are the largest design and build firm in the country. We offer design consultancy, of course, on-site contracting, and we manufacture practically everything that goes in any high-end space, whether residential or commercial. Hello everyone, I'm Hardesh, CEO and founder of Essentia Environments. I started my career in Russia, which again it makes it very unique. It allowed us to generate significant capital very quickly, but at the same time you did not have any option or possibility of parking the funds within Russia. When you are busy doing what you are doing and you really don't have much time to evaluate as to what all is happening in the market, you will end up making mistakes. And again, unless and until you are extremely lucky, sooner or later you are going to lose money. German mark had fallen significantly against US dollar. So I invested money, I converted all my holdings into marks, thinking that the mark is going to appreciate and I'll make some money. It didn't. I was intelligent enough to cut my losses, and I remember that even at that time I lost $30,000. Now that was a lesson well learned, not to get into things which you don't understand, And this brings me to why mutual funds are a better alternative. We design spaces, both homes and commercial offices, and I believe that investment is not much different from designing. So when we get a project, what do we look at? We look at the context, we look at the functional requirements, aesthetic preferences, we look at the budgetary constraints, and then we go about visualizing as to how the project would look, and then the last step is the execution of that. Safety nest, no matter how big it is, the inflation will eat away most of it if it is not growing or if it's not keeping pace with inflation at least. I think from very early on what I realized was the money that you park as an investment, it has to grow, it has to beat inflation. Okay? The only way to do that is to park it in an asset class which is mutual funds. When it comes to bodybuilding or when you go to the gym, and I think what is more important is consistency. Showing up at the gym on a daily basis for an extended period will definitely give you the results. Okay? Alternatively, if you go to the gym and you push hardest and then you don't go to the gym for 30 days, that's not going to give you any result except pains or aches all over the body. Okay? Similarly, when you are investing, it's more important that you are invested for a longer period. The compounding effect only comes into play when you are invested for a longer duration. Therefore, it's very important to set aside the funds which you do not need for your immediate financial some purpose and let it work for you. I think more important than how much return you manage to get over a year is for how long you are invested in the market. So I think every individual will have their own constraints or preferences. So base your investment, don't lose sight of that. Maybe you have your daughter's wedding coming, maybe you have to pay for your son's education or college fees. Maybe you decide that you need to build your own home and you might need funds. Maybe there is wedding in the family. So I think set aside funds for that, and what you don't need, only those funds park in mutual funds. For me, broadly speaking, money is independence. This is the freedom. And any amount that I park as an investment, I think it feeds into that. Now, if I know that I have a significant amount parked safely somewhere which is continuing to grow, it allows me to take certain risks in business, okay? Because that gives me that confidence and that freedom. Without that, I would have been much more guarded in my regular business. We would not have been able to do so many things that we have been able to do, partly only because there was that rainy day nest parked somewhere and which was growing continuously. I do not consider myself as a financial expert or somebody who has been particularly lucky with my investments. But I think what everybody would universally acknowledge is that Warren Buffett is one such person who has done extremely well through investing. What has he been saying for the last 50 plus years? Okay, do not try to beat the market. Okay, do not try to unnecessarily incur expenses which will chip away at your returns. What does he mean by that? What he's saying is park your assets in a broad asset class where expenses are minimal, which again brings me to the mutual funds that should be go-to for everyone.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Mutual Funds Sahi Hai presents Nivesh Ka Sahi Kadam in association with News 18 Network.